Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Asia Sharma. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Friday, the 9th of February. US President calls Indian Prime Minister to discuss security in Indo-Pacific region. US forces in Afghanistan warn of more strikes against Taliban. And now for all the details. US President Donald Trump and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Thursday pledged to continue working together to enhance security and prosperity in the Indo-Pacific region. A White House statement said the two leaders spoke over the phone about the political situation in Maldives and war in Afghanistan, among other issues of mutual interest.
US President Donald Trump spoke over the phone with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Thursday and pledged to continue working to enhance security and prosperity in the Indo-Pacific region. Both leaders expressed concern about the political crisis in the Maldives and the importance of respect for democratic institutions and rule of law, said a White House office statement. This development comes in the wake of ongoing political turmoil in the Maldives, where President Abdullah Yameen has refused to follow the country's Supreme Court's order directing him to release political opponents and declared a state of emergency. Meanwhile, both the leaders also reiterated their commitment to supporting Afghanistan's security and stability. The leaders also exchanged views on Myanmar and ways to address the plight of the Rohingya refugees who are in the process of getting repatriated to Myanmar. Many nations have called for safe and involuntary repatriation of over 600,000 Rohingyas who have taken refuge in Bangladesh. The leaders also agreed to strengthen security and economic cooperation as they look forward to the 2+2 ministerial dialogue between their defence and diplomatic officials in April.
Police in India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province has arrested 4 militants, including 2 on-ground workers belonging to Pakistan-based terror group Lashkar-e-Taiba. The militants were involved in the recent hospital attack in Srinagar on Tuesday that killed 2 cops and helped a militant escape.
Police in India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province on Thursday arrested 4 militants, including on-ground workers belonging to Pakistan-based terror group Lashkar-e-Taiba. The militants were involved in the recent Srinagar hospital attack earlier this week. The attack helped a dreaded militant of Lashkar-e-Taiba, Naveed Jat, to escape from police custody.
During the raids, we could apprehend 2 militants, Shakil Ahmed Butt and Tika Khan, both residents of Kakapura, Pulwama, and 2 OGWs by the name of Saeed Tajammul and Muhammad Shafi Wani, both from Kakapura, Pulwama.
According to the local police, the arrested militants revealed that the conspiracy for the hospital attack was hatched 4 months ago. The attack even killed 2 cops when one of the 6 prisoners brought to the hospital for a routine medical checkup opened fire at the police party.
Moving on, load shedding and the increase in the price of electricity has been a major problem for residents in Pakistan-administered Kashmir. It has now triggered unrest as residents claim authorities are not doing much to solve the problem.
Prolonged load shedding in Pakistan-administered Kashmir is creating unrest among residents of the illegally occupied region. People in the region blame the authorities for not doing much to solve the problem in spite of having abundant water resources to generate sufficient hydroelectricity. Power outages have also affected various businesses in the region.
बिजली का बहुत ही जो है ना इशू है मुजफ्फराबाद में। यहाँ पे हर 1-2 घंटे के बाद लोड शेडिंग होती है और जब जाती है तो 2-2, 3-3 घंटे के बाद जाती है।
अच्छा, तो बिजली के बिलों की क्या सूरत हाल है? लोड शेडिंग की वजह से बिल कम आते हैं?
नहीं सर, बिल उसी रूटीन से आते हैं और जब अगर कोई ना जमा करवाए तो उसके ओवर चार्जेस भी ज़्यादा होते हैं।
और बिजली की जो है गाँव में तो शहर में तो फिर थोड़ी बेहतरी है, लेकिन गाँव में जो है वो शाम अगर रात को गई है तो सुबह आती है और अगर सुबह को गई है वो शाम को आती है।
Residents allege that it is a part of Pakistan's agenda to keep the region underdeveloped. Pakistan-administered Kashmir was illegally occupied by Pakistan more than 6 decades ago, and the establishment has failed to develop the infrastructure of the region.
In news from Afghanistan, top US forces officials have warned of increased airstrikes against militant group Taliban in Afghanistan. This comes after airstrikes were conducted by the US forces to strike Taliban and East Turkestan Islamic Movement training facilities in Badakhshan province in the past week.
US Army officials have warned that a rain of bombs will fall on the Taliban following an increase in airstrikes against the militant group in parts of Afghanistan. The officials said the recent airstrikes in Badakhshan province targeted strongholds of East Turkestan Islamic Movement, who have had a role in killing people in China, and Taliban attacks in Afghanistan.
بیشک نیرومند ساختن نیروهای هوایی افغانستان بخشی از تلاش‌های ما در افغانستان است، اما یکی از ترسناکترین آنها است. طالبان هنگامی که راهکار ما را میشنود و لرزه می‌افتد، ما آنان را زیر فشار قرار می‌دهیم تا به میدان جنگ واقعی بیایند، جایی که نیروهای دولتی از هر سو به آنان حمله کنند.
According to the US forces, the Afghan Air Force conducts at least 40 airstrikes every week, and the US Air Force carries out 25 airstrikes every week. The US is now planning to shift its military equipment from Iraq and Syria to Afghanistan in a move to speed up efforts against the terrorists in Afghanistan. Officials said the process of deploying at least 1,000 US troops with their equipment and airplanes from Iraq to Afghanistan will start within the next month.
A group of 4 Sri Lankan refugees was arrested on Thursday in India's southern coastal town of Rameshwaram for illegally entering India. Arrested under Indian Passport Act 1920, the refugees are being interrogated by local police.
Four Sri Lankan refugees, including a 5-year-old girl and a pregnant woman, were arrested in India's southern coastal town of Rameshwaram on Thursday for illegally entering India. The arrests come days after a boat was found abandoned off Dhanushkodi coast by the police. Arrested under Indian Passport Act 1920, the refugees entered India by an illegal ferry service by paying around $472. After the arrest, the refugee group was interrogated by local police. India shares an expansive oceanic border with Sri Lanka without any perceptible demarcation, which makes it easy for travellers from both the sides to ignore the rules. Even fishermen from both the countries frequently stray into each other's territory and then end up spending years in jails.
Moving on to news from Nepal, Nepal's left alliance comprising of CPN, UML and CPN Maoist Centre has secured 2/3 majority in the recently held National Assembly election. The alliance earlier missed out on the 2/3 majority in the House of Representatives, but now has crossed 66% with a comfortable margin in the upper house polls that concluded on Wednesday.
Nepal's left alliance comprising of CPN, UML and CPN Maoist Centre has secured 2/3 majority in the National Assembly or NA polls, which concluded on Wednesday. The alliance had earlier narrowly missed out on the 2/3 majority in the House of Representatives or HOR. With a combined strength of 39 seats, the UML and Maoist Centre have secured the 2/3 majority in the upper house of Parliament. The UML party alone has won 27 seats in the NA polls, while its ally, Maoist Centre, secured 12 seats. With securing such majority seats in the parliament, the UML has emerged as the largest party in the NA election and is soon likely to lead the next government with Maoist Centre in Nepal.
Over 2,000 persons together played conch shells in India's central Chhattisgarh province to set a world record on Thursday. The feat was certified by the Golden Book of World Records.
A total of 2,100 devotees and priests set a world record on Thursday as they blew conch shells on the banks of Mahanadi River in India's central Chhattisgarh province. The feat was achieved during the ongoing Rajim Kumbh Mela or Pitcher Festival in the province and was certified by the Golden Book of World Records. Earlier on Wednesday, another world record for lighting 300,000 earthen lamps was set at the annual Hindu pilgrimage in Rajim town of Chhattisgarh.
पूरे विश्व में एक ऐसा संदेश जाए जिससे कि ये ब्रह्मांड में सुख शांति समृद्धि आए और इसके लिए आज ये शंखनाद हुआ है और इसको गोल्डन बुक ऑफ वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड ने इसको शामिल किया है।
Rajim Kumbh Mela is thronged by thousands of devotees and holy men every year who bathe in the holy waters of Mahanadi river to wash away the sins of a lifetime and attain nirvana.
In a simple yet unique wedding, more than 100 couples recently tied the nuptial knot at a mass marriage ceremony in India's northern Ayodhya city. The gesture by the government aimed at reducing financial burden on the families of the brides.
More than 100 couples recently tied the knot at a grand mass wedding ceremony in India's northern Ayodhya city. The event was organized by the government, aimed at reducing financial burden on the families of brides. Guests turned up in huge numbers to bless the beaming couples who dressed up in traditional attire for the occasion. A colorful act led by singers also enthralled the guests who turned up to witness the ceremony.
बहुत ज़्यादा खुश हैं, बहुत अच्छी चीज़ है और इसे होता रहे।
Group marriages are becoming popular, especially among the financially disadvantaged sections of the Indian society, as they reduce worries of monetary implications among parents.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude, the top stories once again. US President calls Indian Prime Minister to discuss security in Indo-Pacific region. US forces in Afghanistan warn of more strikes against Taliban. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsia Newsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsia Newsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time next week. Have a great weekend. Good night.